There is one stretch that physical therapists and strength coaches have been quietly using for years, both as a way to assess how well someone's body is moving and as a warm-up before serious training. And this may be the missing piece that could make you feel 10 or even 20 years younger than you currently are. Yet most people have never heard of it. And if they have, they've never understood why it works as well as it does. It's called the world's greatest stretch. And that name isn't an exaggeration. In a single movement, one fluid sequence that takes maybe 60 seconds to complete, your hip flexors, hamstrings, glutes, thoracic spine, shoulders, and groin all get addressed at the same time. Not in separate exercises, not in a 20-minute routine. One movement, your entire body. But here's the part most people miss. This isn't just a stretch. It's a diagnostic. The first time you do it, it's going to show you exactly where your body has been compensating, where things have gotten stiff without you realizing it, and why certain movements have started to feel harder than they used to. And once you see that, and once you start doing this every morning, things start to change pretty quickly. Here's what I mean by that. Think about what a typical morning feels like in your body. You sit up, your lower back might feel tight. You take a few steps and something is just slightly off. That familiar stiffness that takes 20 minutes to work itself out. Most people accept that as just getting older. It isn't. It's your body telling you it hasn't moved through its full range of motion in too long, and the tissues are adapting to the position you spend the most time in. That stiffness compounds. Day after day, your hip flexors shorten because you've been sitting. Your thoracic spine stiffens because you've been rounded forward. Your hamstrings tighten because nothing is asking them to lengthen under load. And your body quietly starts rerouting movement around those restrictions. Your lower back picks up the slack. Your knees absorb what your hips can't handle, and eventually, something gives. The world's greatest stretch addresses every single one of those patterns. That's why it has the name it does. So let's talk about what the world's greatest stretch actually is, and why each position in it does something the others can't. You start standing, feet hip-width apart. Step your right foot forward into a long lunge, longer than you think you need. Your back knee drops toward the ground, and your front shin stays roughly vertical. From here, you place both hands on the ground just inside your front foot. This is your starting position, and already your hip flexor on the back leg is being asked to lengthen. If you feel a deep pull in the front of that back hip, that's your body flagging a restriction it's been carrying around. Now here's where the movement earns its name. Take your right hand, the same side as your front foot, and drive it up toward the ceiling, rotating through your thoracic spine. Your eyes follow your hand. You're not just twisting at the waist, you're creating rotation through the mid-back, the part of your spine that was designed to rotate and has likely been locked up from sitting. Hold that position for a breath. Feel the chest open. Feel the shoulder move through its full range. Feel the difference between your left side and your right, because there will be one, and it matters. Bring the hand back down. From there, shift your hips back and straighten the front leg, pushing gently into a hamstring stretch. Your hands stay on the ground, your hips hinge back, and you let the hamstring lengthen under load. This isn't a passive stretch you fall into. You're actively pressing your heel into the ground while hinging back, which creates tension along the entire posterior chain, hamstring, glute, lower back, all at once. Come back into the lunge, hip flexor again, but now your tissue is slightly more open than it was 10 seconds ago. Then drive the back knee down a little further, and this time sweep the same side arm across your body and then open it toward the ceiling one more time, hitting that thoracic rotation again, but now from a slightly different hip position. You'll feel it differently, that's the point. And this is where it gets interesting. Each position in this sequence isn't just passively holding a stretch. Each one is teaching your nervous system something. Your hip flexors are learning that it's safe to lengthen. Your thoracic spine is being reminded that it can rotate. Your hamstrings are learning to tolerate tension at end range. This is what physical therapists understand that most people don't. Your range of motion isn't just a muscle problem. It's a nervous system problem. Your body restricts range of motion it perceives as unsafe. The more you move through a range with control, the more your nervous system allows. Over time, that compounds in your favor. Do this on the right side, then step back and do it on the left. You're looking at maybe 90 seconds total. Now, movements like this, the ones that work with how your body is actually designed to function, are exactly what the Reset Your Body blueprint is built around. Most programs chase strength and ignore mobility and stability entirely. The blueprint I've built combines both, and it's built specifically for people who want their body to feel as good as it performs. If that sounds like what you need, check the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. But let's get back to the world's greatest stretch for now, because what happens when you make this a daily habit is where things get really interesting. Within the first week, you'll notice the stiffness in the morning starts resolving faster, not because you've dramatically lengthened your muscles in 7 days, but because your nervous system has started to recognize this range of motion as normal. It stops guarding against it. By week 2 or 3, you'll start noticing it during other movements. Your squat will feel deeper. Getting up from the floor will feel easier. That low-grade tightness in your lower back that you've been managing, it starts to quiet down. And if you're someone who works at a desk, the cumulative effect of doing this every morning before you sit down for 8 hours is significant. You're starting the day with your body in its full range. You're fighting the compression before it builds. But if you can push past that first impulse to rush through it, if you slow down and really feel what each position is telling you, something else starts to happen. You start to notice which side is tighter. You start to notice that the rotation on your left is more restricted than your right, or that your left hip flexor grips in a way your right one doesn't. That awareness is valuable. It tells you where your body needs more attention, and it changes how you move through the rest of your day. Here's something else that most people overlook. The world's greatest stretch wakes up your glutes, the deep lunge position. Especially when you're pressing actively into the ground with your front heel, forces your glute to fire to stabilize the hip. A lot of people have glutes that have essentially gone offline from too much sitting. They're there, they're capable, but they've stopped being recruited effectively. This stretch starts to reverse that, which means your lower back stops overworking to compensate, and your hips start doing what they were designed to do. And this is where things get even deeper. When your thoracic spine can rotate, your shoulder function improves. When your hip flexors lengthen, your lumbar spine decompresses. When your hamstrings release tension, your pelvis tilts into a better position and your entire posture shifts. These things are all connected. Most people try to address them separately, a hip stretch here, a shoulder mobility drill there, without ever understanding that the body works as a chain. The world's greatest stretch addresses the chain, which is why one movement produces results that a collection of isolated stretches never quite does. Here's how to use it. Every morning, before you do anything else, before coffee, before your phone, before you've fully processed what day it is, run through this sequence twice on each side. 4 passes total, slow and controlled. Each position gets a full breath. Don't rush the rotation, don't bounce through the hamstring stretch, and don't treat this like something to get through. The value is in the quality of the movement, not the speed of it. If something feels particularly restricted, spend an extra breath there. Don't force it. Just breathe into the tension and let your nervous system release on its own timeline. Forcing a stretch past the point of resistance doesn't accelerate progress. It triggers a protective response that makes the restriction worse. Ease in, hold, breathe, and let the tissue respond. One thing worth paying attention to: keep your front knee tracking over your second toe throughout the lunge positions. A lot of people let it collapse inward, especially when the hip is tight. That collapse means your hip isn't doing its job, and it reduces the effectiveness of the stretch while adding stress to the knee. Drive the knee outward intentionally, and you'll feel the glute and outer hip engage in a way that changes everything about the position. Also watch your lower back during the hamstring phase. When you shift your hips back, there's a tendency to round the lumbar spine to squeeze out a little extra range. Resist that. Keep a neutral spine, hinge at the hip, and let the hamstring do the work. You'll get less range at first, but you'll be training the pattern correctly, and your lower back will notice the difference. Within 2 weeks, this will take you less than 3 minutes, and your body will feel the difference before you've done anything else with your day. The stiffness resolves faster, the hips open more easily, the thoracic spine stops feeling like it's locked in place, and the lower back, for most people, gets noticeably quieter. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because you've been consistently giving your body what it's been asking for every single morning. That's the investment. 3 minutes, every morning. And what you get back is a body that moves the way it was designed to move, without the stiffness, the compensation patterns, and the accumulated tightness that makes everything else harder than it needs to be. The world's greatest stretch earned its name, but only if you actually do it. And if you haven't already, the Reset Your Body Blueprint is linked in the description below. Worth checking out if today's video resonated with you.